Welcome back. If you're just tuned in, our topic tonight is on the KB school raid. And we're asking, will Nigeria ever be able to, secure their children, especially those in school? Now, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation by sending us an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818 038 4663. Also, our phone lines are open. You can call us on 070 2500 7749 and also on 0701 4242 420. And let's hear what you have to say. Now, let's get into it, right? The attack in Kebbi, has raised very urgent concerns about the state of school security, especially in the north, the resilience of banditry networks, and the seeming inability of authorities to prevent repeated kidnappings, even in locations with a track record of previous attacks. Now, according to reports, bandits killed the vice principal who attempted to protect these students. Parents gathered outside the school, many in tears, of course, demanding answers as rescue operations, according to what we were told, are underway. But beyond that immediate incident, we must examine the pattern and the failures that brought us here. So let's look at a few past occurrences, just for context. Like I highlighted before, this is not an isolated event. It has become a decade-long pattern. For instance, in 2014, we had the Chibok girls, the incident of the Chibok girls in Bornu, where we had 276 girls kidnapped by Boko Haram. Global outrage, right? Many of them remain missing. In 2018, we had Dapchi in Yobe. We had over, I think 110 girls abducted. One, Leah Sharibu, never returned due to her faith. Now, 2021, we have Kagara, Niger State. 42 42 people abducted, including students and teachers. 2021, we had Jangebe in Zamfara, 279 schoolgirls taken. Later, of course, released after negotiations. 2021, we had Benin Yori in Kebbi, still this Kebbi state. Over 80 FGC students kidnapped. Rescue efforts stretched for months. Then in between 2022 rather, and 2024, we've seen, multiple smaller deadly raids across Kaduna, Katsina, and Niger State. And today's attack, this is 2025, same Kebbi school, same vulnerability, same horrors. A lot of questions, are practically even asking itself, how many times must lightning actually strike before we build a conductor to prevent it? How many times? It has become a pattern. So you see, tonight, we take this from the angle of systemic failure, the angle of political fatigue. And for over a decade, the response we've seen to these school kidnappings has followed the same script. There's nothing different. It is the same exact script. We're talking condemnation, of course. They will condemn the act. Oh, we condemn this. There will be public outrage. Of course, they will say, oh, the military will tell us, oh, they've deployed these people. Military deployment. Now, ransom. Oh, there's ransom. Oh, we're negotiating the ransom. Oh, and then silence. That's it. We go silent until the next raid happens. And then we repeat the cycle. We go again. We keep running round and round again. And you don't even see tangible changes. Before you know it, you know how they say it's Nigeria now. If your gist is brewing, don't worry, by tomorrow something else will happen. Maybe we can go fight. Something will happen and everybody faces that one. They forget this one. So there is little or no changes until the next tragedy happens. And now a lot of us are asking questions. We are already battling the fact that there's a lot of out of school children in the north. And then the ones that actually now want to go to school, is it now a crime? Is schooling in northern Nigeria now is a life-threatening activity? Is it now something we should not even think about? Anyway, joining me to unpack this recurring nightmare, I have two guests. With these guests, we're going to be looking at the security implications. We're going to be looking at sustainable solutions. We're going to be analyzing the whole thing entirely. So I have Mohammed Abdullahi, a public affairs analyst, and I have Elijah Okidevbie. I'm sorry, you're gonna help me pronounce your name when you get on the show. But he's the director of operations, Creation International Limited. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Good evening, Nigerians. My pleasure.
Great.
It was a pleasure.
Okay. Mr. Elijah, please could you help us correct your surname so we don't murder it next time?
Well, I myself, I had to learn how to pronounce my surname, if that's any help. So it's
Okay.
pronounced Okideve.
Okidebe.
Okideve.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you. All right. Let's get into the conversation, okay? I'm going to come to you, Mr. Abdullahi, first. This is the second major attack on the same school in Kebbi State, right? What does this say about Nigeria's ability to learn from past incidents?
Well, thank you very much. It's really quite unfortunate the situation we find ourselves as Nigerians and what we do in Nigeria in terms of insecurity. The past decade, actually, is very challenging that for more than 10 years now, and even more, if I have to be precise, for more than 10 whole years, we've been battling, insurgency. We've been battling terrorism and so on and so forth. But I would like to start with something.
Right.
Precisely on the 9th of September, 2014, President Tinubu then I wouldn't say as an ordinary citizen because he was a former governor of Lagos State and even a past senator. He tweeted something about the wanton killings, the kidnappings across the country. And he was even assertively then saying Nigeria does not have a government because of the so many killings and kidnappings going on around 2014. That is 11 years ago. So I would also love to pose that same question and that same tweet to Mr. President today, 11 years after he's now president. And he's been in the saddle of presidency for the past 2 years. Does he think we have a government running today vis-a-vis the so many issues of killings across the country? That's the question I would like to pose to the government and to the presidency, please. Now, let's continue. Now, the challenges is that we don't nip things in the bud in this part of the world. We are always reactionary. We are never proactive. This is not the first time school children are being picked up in schools. And like you rightly mentioned, in a region where children are even scared to go to school in the first place. We have millions of children out of school. And the very few ones that muster the courage to go to school, they are also scared of being picked up by these terrorists. And what have we done as a country? We just allow it happen and then react. Press releases that is just edited from what happened in previous time or previous month or years or month. And it's stated that, yeah, we are condoling, we are on the top of the game, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I think the problem is failure of intelligence. Again, whether the government want to agree with this or not, it was widespread in the media about a month ago that there was perhaps a coup against the sitting government. But there was intelligence gathering, like we read in the media, and people involved were picked up before this thing happened. So why is it that this same intelligence cannot be applied where it is ordinary citizenry, like for me and you, for school children that are 100% innocent, oblivious of what is happening, in the society? So I think it is high time the government need to sit down. Security is the number one function of every government all over the world.
Exactly.
Yes, the government is trying perhaps in some little aspect or little sectors or some few sectors, But the issue of insecurity is actually eroding every gain. And I stand to be corrected. Every gain this government is recording elsewhere. Because you can't travel nowhere across Nigeria where citizens can travel for just 100 kilometers 100 kilometers without your heart beating or getting scared that someone somewhere will just come out of anywhere and pick you up. It's terrible. This is killing trade. This is killing movement. In fact, this is killing family ties. People can't even move around to visit their families because everyone is scared. You know, so I think it is barbaric. These terrorists do not care. And sorry, if you allow me to continue for just 1 minute. I just told my friend a few minutes ago, the only luck Nigeria is riding on now at the moment is that these terrorists are not even united. If you remember just a week ago, ISWAP was killing Boko Haram members. And we've had this going on. In fact, the leader of Boko Haram was killed by ISWAP, Shekau, not the Nigerian government, not the Nigerian military. So if we allow this, if these terrorists understood that they needed to be united, I'll tell you, we will wake up one day and just find out that we don't have a country. So we don't want to just keep riding on this luck that the terrorists are not united, they are killing themselves. You know? So the government need to up its game. The government need to up its game. It is so sad that every now and then, everywhere, the issue of killings, the issue of kidnappings is dominating the media waves. It is so sad.
It is.
And what does this tell you? It tells you that we are not serious as a group, because when things keep happening repeatedly and you are unable to find solutions, it means you are not serious. Because these terrorists understood that, yes, what we do is just reactionary. And then after some few months maximum, we are done. So they come up with another strategy in the next 5 or perhaps 1 year, and then they strike again. How do we continue to live like this as citizens and as Nigerians? I think government need to up its game. And lastly, the solution is that perhaps you understand that the kind of motorcade, for instance, the kind of security celebrities and government move around with is far enough to even deal with some of these terrorists. For instance, you talk about the fight, for instance, the quarrel between the minister and the naval officer. Can you count the number of security apparatuses within that is together with these two people only? They are up to more than 50. You have the DSS there, you have the army there, you have the police there, just for 2 individuals, for instance. Why other, our society, the schools, other things are left, the community are just left ungoverned. It is so sad. And I'm highly emotional when I'm talking about this.
Yeah, I know. It's a very touchy subject, to discuss. I personally struggled with it. But let me come to you, Mr. Elijah, right? I mean, we would always hear, of course, that the president is the chief security officer of the nation and all that. So if he is, why are boarding schools? These are children in schools. Like we have highlighted, the few that decided to go to school in the north. Why are they still so vulnerable despite repeated warnings? I mean, for instance, this is the second time in the same school. Why do you think that is?
It's been a very, very sad week. Before I start, I would like to say that my heart goes out to the family of the vice principal, who at least stood his ground, notwithstanding the overwhelming force he had to deal with. He stood for something. That goes to show us that we've still not lost the spirit of chivalry and heroism in the country. Our hearts goes out to the family of the vice principal and every other person that played a role to at least try and put yourself between the terrorists and the school children. So back to the question you just asked me. It's just so sad for you to see the level of negligence, gross negligence. That the government, when I say the government at times, we make it look very big. There are agencies, there are people that are in charge that have been given the mandate, to secure lives and property of the citizens. And these individuals are not performing. When we say the government, it looks very vague. But when you narrow this thing down to the people that are responsible, it doesn't look so vague. There are people that are responsible for security in that state. And for what has been happening there, it just goes to show that these individuals are not performing. They are not performing at all. You see, if you go to a typical private school, when you get there, you will see police, you will see army, you will see private security outfits that are there. Before you pick your children, you have to identify yourself.
Right.
Before you pick these kids from school. If you go to you go to a church, go to a hotel, everybody protects their patrons. You understand? Because of the level of insecurity in the country. But you find out that in these private institutions, your federal schools, your state schools, things like that, there is little to no level of security for these kids. Little you can just walk in and walk out. Nobody asks you any question. Let's even leave the issue of the security. Check these schools. They don't even have good fence.
They don't even have class desks.
Nothing. There's no way to say, okay, this is the entrance to the school. You can enter from anywhere into the four walls of this school. As an alien, you can enter through anywhere. Nobody asks you nothing. That goes to show you that the government does not care about the future of the country, because these kids are the future of tomorrow.
Right.
Now, if these kids are the future of tomorrow, have no level of protection, then what are we talking about if your tomorrow is not secure? Then everything you're doing today is in vain. It is in vain. So,
yeah. I can't hear you, sir. Anyway, while you fix that, let me come back to you, Mr. Abdullahi.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can. Finish your thoughts, please.
Right. Okay, that also goes to show you that in the country, there's also what we call classism. If the private sector is doing it very well to take care of their wardens or their principals, and you find out that the federal system is not doing any of these things, it just goes to show you that there's a level of classism in play as well, because it looks like these people are not people of interest. These children are not people of interest because, they're in the federal system. I mean, you know how it is. If you even check many of these schools, there was one video that was circulating online where these children were being served, I can't even call it soup, I will call it water. I will call it, they were being served water with eba to eat. And it begs the question, if you know you won't even care for these children, why even bother?
Why bother?
Because it was looking very inhumane, serving these children water as soup. My spirit felt so bad when I watched that video. Has it gotten to this extent?
Just a follow-up, right? A follow-up to what you're saying about agencies being able to protect the children. Now, in 2014, after the Chibok girls incident, there was something called the Safe School Initiative that was launched, right?
Yes, that's correct.
What do you think is the reason why the authorities have failed to enforce this Safe School Initiative, especially in these northern states where we know that insecurity is at its lowest?
It's the same reason that nothing ever gets enforced in Nigeria when it has to do with the federal level, or should I say the government level, because there's no follow-up. There's no follow-up, there's no accountability. Once these things are not there in any institution, the human factor will always come in, where people tend to do what they feel like doing. Because the government is not an alien institution. It's being made up of human beings. So if you don't follow principles and there's nobody to make sure that these principles put in place are followed, then people will act in impunity. And they know that they can get away with it. So they will always do it in the sense that, at the end of the day, I just go and see who I need to see, and nothing gets done. When the judiciary is not working, none of these institutions are working how they are supposed to work. So everybody acts with impunity, because nobody will hold you accountable for your wrongdoings. It's as simple as that. So it's not anything very peculiar. It's just because there's no accountability, in the federal system. So everybody does as they like. Because when this occurred initially in 2014, where the whole Chibok case, everybody was running helter-skelter. We need to, put security measures in place in schools, in churches, in all these places of, gatherings. And initially, there was a bit of body language by the security apparatus to implement these things. But after like 3-4 months, of discussion, everything died down. And nothing happened afterwards. There was no follow-up. The media, the agencies, nobody followed up to say, why was these things not implemented? Till today, again, we're talking about students, 25 students or so that were being abducted. People were killed. So, and
Anyway,
after another 1 to 2 years, we'll come back to the same topic again to discuss why nothing was done.
That's what I keep saying. It's a cycle. We have a script that we're playing out. Anyway, we're going to get back to this conversation, and when we come back, we'll take it from there. Please stay. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the school raid that happened in Kebbi State and how unfortunately the vice principal had to die because he was trying to, save these children. And I have two gentlemen with me on this show, Mr. Elijah and Mr. Abdullahi. Let me come to you, Mr. Abdullahi, right? So, banditry in the Northwest has evolved significantly, of course, over the last, let's say seriously, over the last 5 years. How can Nigeria disrupt their financing and logistics? This is really important.
About 2 years ago, the government of the United Arab Emirates, actually, I don't really understand their interest, but I know they help in pinpointing some individuals and some names. And in fact, ask Nigerian government to name, make it public, those names and companies that are financing them. Did not, actually. Nigeria did not. Only God knows what or why. Under the administration of late President Buhari. We need to, find the root of the financing of terrorism. One of which is actually through ransom. But I want to believe from the kind of sophisticated weapons these bandits, these terrorists carry, I don't want to believe they are only being financed by the ransom that they take from Nigerians, which is quite humongous anyway. I remember reading a report about, was it earlier this year or late last year, that stated that Nigerians had paid more than 2 or 3 billion naira in terms of. Sorry?
Go ahead. Is this year? Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That highlighted Nigerians paying about 2 or 3 billion naira in ransom. So you understand what 2 to 3 billion can do. But again, remember, this banditry, I like to lump them up as terrorists are of many kinds. The cattle rustlers, which are the lowest cadre, ISWAP, ISIS, Boko Haram. These three are more sophisticated, and by now they operate internationally. You understand? Because they cut across West Africa and even more. So I want to believe beyond the ransom taking, and in fact, they actually levy tax as well in some part of northern Nigeria where they have a stronghold. They levy tax to farmers for you to plant and for you to take stuff from your farm. You have to pay them tax. They get a lot of money from there as well. But I still believe for Boko Haram, for ISWAP and ISIS particularly, and the Lakurawas now that we're dealing with, they also get financing beyond maybe levies and even ransom taking, because you find out the kind of, like I said, weapons from what we've seen in the media, widely spread in the media. For instance, where they say they hold peace talks, peace dialogues. I don't know who give this. In fact, local government chairman is holding peace dialogue with terrorists. I don't know.
I saw a video. I saw a video about that. I think just today, a local government chairman having a peace talk with terrorists.
It's something, because like I said, this is international thing. It's something that is a nation that engulfs a whole nation. So I think it's beyond what even a governor should just say, let me call terrorists and begin to hold So I don't know how it get to local government chairman in Katsina holding peace deals with terrorists. Anyway, that's not the question. So, but from these photos and videos, we see the kind of weapons, sophisticated weapons these guys carry. So it's beyond just the 2 billions that they say they've collected this year, for instance. So we need to find the root cause. And I'm just an ordinary citizen. That's not my job. That's why we have the DSS, for instance. Now, if you go back to this 2 days kidnapping in Kebbi, the state governor is actually, and that's what we do in Nigeria. Everybody is just blaming and blaming and blaming. Even people whose it's a responsibility to function will blame the other agency. Now, the governor, Ahmed Idris, is saying he got an intel from DSS to say terrorists are coming to strike in the school. And he passed same intel to the appropriate authority. I mean, perhaps the army, I'm sure. And now, the army were there in the school for a period of time. And about maybe this is what we read in the media anyway.
Right.
And about 1 hour or 2 hours, how the army left, or when the police left the school, the terrorists came in. So it is quite challenging the way things happen here. And sorry, I need to go back to the question you posed to
quickly,
my co-panelist earlier, saying after 14 Chibok girls, we also mentioned that yes, that responsibility was given to the NSCDC. If I remember well, it was given to the NSCDC then that they will be in charge of securing public schools.
Right.
Like he rightly mentioned, after some few months, they were all there, the bragados and so on and so forth. We do things for photo ops for the media to see. Then after some few months, like every other policy that we have in this country, since there is no evaluation, there is no accountability, then we abandon it. And when crises come, we begin to run helter-skelter. This is not good enough. And it is the job of the intelligence agencies in Nigeria. We have the National Intelligence Agency, NIA. We have the DSS. It is their job to find the root cause of financing of terrorism in Nigeria. It is their job. It is no one's job. This is their sole job to find and then cut it off. So that we'll be able to, if we are able to cut off the major financing of terrorism, I tell you, we'll be able to weaken their actions. And then perhaps we know what to do to find a lasting solution to the issue afterwards.
All right, let me come to you, Mr. Elijah. In your view, what is the single most important reform we need right now? Theoretical, practical, not theoretical reform now. What do you think we should be doing right now beyond the photo ops, beyond the media chats and press briefing and here and there? What should we do practically right now? Because we're in a very dire situation.
Well, we have already been flagged as a country of particular
concern. Yeah.
So to start with, that also downplays to a lot of negative things towards us, in the sense of nobody will want to give you loan, nobody will want to come for tourism in your country, nobody will want to come at school in your country. People won't want to even travel. We're approaching Christmas and New Year now. People will be scared to travel and come back home because, apparently Trump has flagged your country. It's not just even Trump, a lot of popes have also done the same, So these things go around and it has a lot of negative impact to the country. That aside, when it comes to security, this whole thing of security in our country, what pains me the most is that we take out time, effort, energy, resources, to profess solutions, to the government. And at the end of the day, it comes back to us as a slap to our face because nothing is ever done to implement any of these things. We've written a couple of times to the government, to agencies, that they should implement the use of drones. We said Nigeria has satellites. What are these satellites doing? Are these satellites just observing weather, or are these satellites, used, by these agencies like the NIA, used like for the DSS? Are they used to track, these pockets of militants and the terrorists? Because you can't tell me that these children, when they came from the school, they just disappear. They don't just disappear into thin air. They move. They have a network. They move.
Right.
And these communities they move through, there are people there that are supposed to be like spies, in these communities that give timely information. Like the other speaker rightfully said, there was an information network that went to the governor of that state from the DSS that something is going to happen. And then at the end of the day, all of them went there for photo op, to go
Yes.
there and show that, yes, we heard that something is happening. We are here to protect you. Why not leave that security infrastructure you brought with you for that photo? Why not leave it there for like a month or two? Why take away all that with you as you're leaving 30 minutes or 1 hour later? How does that show concern? You heard that these children, which are the future of tomorrow, these are people's future. The
Yes.
parents that take care of these kids, look at them as their future. Do you know what these parents are going through at the moment? That they don't know that if they will see their children tomorrow, that they've used their hard-earned resources to groom, to be the future, to be the next generation. And you come there and you take it so nonchalantly and you move away, and then it happens and everybody is screaming and chasing ghosts. And chasing ghosts all over. We have drones that we should be able to deploy and comb these forests. They will not deploy drones. We have guard dogs that sniff. They take these dogs to that school to pick up trail and let these dogs sniff out where these hideouts are. They will not do it. They will only come on TV and say, we are going to, we are going to, we are going to. At the end of the day, nothing is done. And the more these children stay with these bandits, the more it gets worse. Because now
Right.
these bandits start looking at, which one should we take as wives? Which one
Exactly.
should we take for sex trafficking and send to
Exactly.
the neighboring countries? The more you take time, the more these children get molested. And when they come back, you have to send them for medical rehabilitation because they've been through a lot. And it's just very painful. Anytime I see people come online on TV and are talking about this thing with so much fanfare, as if it's not people's lives that are at
Oh
stake.
God. It's
It's just
it's
very
really
painful.
sad. Is really
Painful.
is really sad, and I feel like this is one of the hardest conversations I ever have to talk about, because I mean, imagine it is your word, it is your child, right? You're not going to, I mean, that governor should imagine it's his daughter. You won't stand there and be waiting on press to give a
They
press
won't say it.
statement. It's just it's very
Same people
appalling.
that said don't negotiate with bandits, but when one of their wards or somebody is kidnapped, they go and negotiate with the bandits. Same people. They say don't negotiate, and they still negotiate.
Somehow we have normalized paying ransoms, right? So it's now becoming an incentive. But anyway, this is all the
Let me even interest you with something.
mm-hmm,
When the other speaker was talking about where these people get money from, are you aware that there are a lot of illegal mining operations that happen in the north? I
mm-hmm.
don't mean of minerals that are cheap. These are expensive minerals per kg or per pound. Very expensive minerals that these bandits give people access to go and mine, and they pay them for protection. Serious money. I'm talking about serious money here. It's not
Anyway,
ransom money. Serious money for protection.
all right, gentlemen, thank you so much
So
for your time. This is all we can take, and we do hope we see changes, because we can't continue like this. Like Abdullahi said, one day we'll wake up and see that we don't have a nation anymore if we continue like this. But thank you so much for your input tonight, and I do hope to speak to you very soon. Back to you, viewers. I mean, we've seen. I mean, it's another school attack. It's another set of very terrified parents. Another set of missing schoolgirls. Another broken community. We cannot keep responding to abduction of children with shock when the warning signs are always there. I mean, the governor said he got intelligence. What did we do with that intelligence? Of what use is the intelligence if we cannot, prevent the happenings from actually occurring? You see, our schools must not continue to be soft targets. This is a northern state. This is a school that children have decided to attend in a place where they don't even go to school like that. And instead of encouraging them, we're seeing kidnaps. Right? Our girls don't have to always continue to disappear into forests. And you see, these leaders too that we have in this nation, they don't I don't even know how to say it. They must not continue to treat these tragedies as unfortunate inevitable episode. I think I heard the beginning part of Governor Idris's speech, and he says, "Oh, it has already happened." No, it is avoidable. It's not inevitable. If we cannot protect these children, then what are we exactly securing in this nation? So we as Nigerians, Nigeria as a nation, has to arise to this moment with urgency and empathy, and with real action, not just word of mouth. Because you see, the future we refuse to protect today, right? It will be the tragedy we will inherit tomorrow, whether we like it or not. All right, before we go, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. It's just been a really tough conversation. Drop a comment, like, share, and follow all our social media platforms. And before we go, also, if you missed our quote earlier, here it is. It says, "The safety of children is not a privilege. It is a fundamental responsibility of the state." And it was said by Malala Yousafzai. Now, my name is Chioma Kalu, and this has been Waste Prime Time. I do hope you have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.